I have to say, my favorite kind of All-American is an All-American who has distinguished themselves not only on the field of play, but also in the classroom. And my favorite kind of World Series participant is one that's a student athlete who is doing it for the love of the game. And my favorite professional baseball player, professional athlete of any kind, is one who turns his attentions and his dedication to the next generations of players, and also in a caring way toward their parents who hold so much importance in the development of a young athlete. Just so happens that we are incredibly fortunate to have a guy who fits all of those bills with us here in the studio today. I'm so pleased to introduce to you author, speaker, and person who cares not only about the game of baseball, but about all of the players on the field of play. This is Bill Severns. Good morning, Bill. How are you? Good to see you, brother.
Glad to be here. Thank you. I thought maybe somebody else was coming in. You're too nice.
Well, it's kind of a thing to me in preparing for an interview and reading someone's bona fides to sit back and really think about what has driven you all of these years to the point that you've left your home and you're here with us on a Saturday in Park City, and what are you doing? You're doing a clinic with 6 to 12-year-olds, and I'm sure you're probably making your way around with the parents and giving them a little bit. It's just great to meet you, and if you would, talk about your inspirations and your background and how you started on this path.
Well, how I started, the Sandlot, where my dreams were always to be a baseball player. That's all what I wanted to do, and obviously here for the weekend, the Sandlot weekend, this area. I was fortunate enough when I was playing in the minor leagues to play in Salt Lake. I've always thought this was a beautiful area, and last year I had the opportunity to come up and spend some time with the Park City baseball coaches and parents, which is what we did this morning, and we're going to be doing all weekend. An amazing group of people that love baseball and love their kids. And then tonight we'll go over to the Sandlot, since that's kind of the name of my book and my whole stuff. Focuses the Sandlot is that time where a kid just needs to be able to play. And the movie, the first time I ever saw it, reminded me of my neighborhood at home, where we would just go play and have a great time and play with our friends and and love the game of baseball and learn a little bit about life together.
And the joy that emanates through the years from those early experiences when, as we often talk about, the beauty of getting to be a kid is that life is simpler, and the things that you connect to are so poignant through the years as life becomes more complex and challenging in many ways. Talk a little bit, if you would, about your journey into college baseball. Boomer Sooner.
Roll on.
Right on.
Big Red.
4 years of World Series.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's great.
My journey wasn't a traditional journey. I dreamed of playing in the big leagues. I'm being from Oklahoma. I wanted to be the next Mickey Mantle,
sure,
who was the guy, and had a dream of playing there. But unfortunately, my sophomore year in high school, I was cut from the baseball team. So I had to make a couple adjustments and work a little harder and not necessarily work harder, but get in a little bit better shape to make our high school team. And my coach, who shaped a lot of my life, wanted to talk to me the day after he cut me. And he said, we knew because of the numbers we were going to have to cut you because nobody knew who you were and you didn't play football. So, but I wanted to talk to you and tell you to come back next year. Don't give up. I think you can make the team next year if you come back a little bit more ready to play. So keep playing. So one of my messages to kids and in general is don't ever give up, on your dream. And so the next year I made the team and was fortunate enough to make All-State my senior year.
How about that?
And then go play at Oklahoma University, and which led to 4 college World Series appearances. We never won it, but then I was drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers and played 6 years with the Brewers. So my dreams did come true in a lot of ways.
So one might say, and I just can't resist tossing this one in since we talked a little bit about Chicago, but you're kind of the Michael Jordan of Oklahoma baseball.
Well, I tell everybody I'm not the most famous person to ever get cut. from sports.
Well
Michael
said.
Jordan owns that title.
And it occurs to me as you're speaking about those times and just the manner in which you refer to them, that the thing that's so key about not giving up on your dreams, and as you said, maybe the bigs wasn't the ultimate destination for you, but you played professional baseball, and AAA is, you know, I often think about the difference between AAA and the bigs, or any of those kind of minor league experiences. Can be timing, can be politics, can be a lot of things. That being said, pursuing that dream and becoming the person who was willing to stay with it not only made you who you are, but also makes you the person who's really necessary to carry that message to anybody who's out there dealing with their own challenges and insecurities on the inside while trying to get that guy at first.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I never gave up. I always had the passion to play the game. I never listened to anybody. There were a lot of doubters, a lot of people that didn't think I would make it, but I never heard them. And I had a speaking engagement one night, and this guy raised his hands and he said, "What did being cut from your high school team do for your self-esteem?" And I said, "Nothing. I just knew they'd made a mistake." You know, so like I said, the next day my coach said, well, about a year before he died, I had dinner with him, and he said, "Do you remember what I said to you the day after I cut you?" And I said, "No." Was I still crying? He said, "No, but you had been up a while, it looked like." He said, "But I told you that if you don't give up, I think you can make this team. And I also told you that I was glad your parents didn't come to fight your fight for you. You faced the music yourself.
Brilliant.
Now I'm just asking you to go do a few things and change and get ready." So he gave me hope. And I think everybody needs hope. Every kid needs hope. Every kid's dream's not the same. And as I go around the country, you know, I see there's so many amazing kids, amazing families, but every kid is different.
Yeah.
Every parent is different. Every family is different. And that's why I love coming to Park City, because you get to see different cities and the way people do things and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think in the Sandlot in those days, we learned how to play with our friends and keep fighting and persevering. And, you know, in the movie itself, just to walk on it today and to be there and to walk on that field where those kids played together, for most of us, it's our friends who support us, you know, and they all supported each other, and that's basically what communities do.
Indeed. It occurs to me that there's of course, there's a tradition in sports in general, and the farther you go in sports, the more that toughness and rising to challenge we know that. It also occurs to me that we are in an era when we're exploring more of our inner lives, and here you are telling a story that's many years ago when you were a young person, and it's full of tenderness, and there's this contrast between the toughness of the sport, whether it be baseball or football or cross-country running or any of those kind of physical challenges, and a part of the message that you're preaching to folks who are listening to you speak and attending your clinics is about perseverance, without a doubt, but also this thing of, and you just alluded to it again, letting kids be who they are. Some kids are tough. Some kids want the challenge and have a lightning focus, and some kids are confused and aren't sure, but maybe are full of talent and can't get that singular focus. What's your take after all these years of kind of maybe that balance, or how you measure out those two might seem opposing or contradicting emotions when you're talking to not only to very young people but to parents?
Well, every kid that I coached and everyone that I played eventually wound up doing something pretty cool, and I always knew that. And hitting a baseball, they say, is the toughest thing to do in sports. You got a round ball and a round bat, you got to hit it square. Yeah. And if you hit 300, you're failing 70% of the time. So it's a game built on failure. But the kids that I knew that most of the kids, and that's the reason that I wrote my books, a lot of my friends are scouts for major league teams, and I have a lot of big guys that have backed up what I've said, and we all understand how difficult it is. It's a very tough game, and the reason that the Sandlot was so attractive to me was we used to play 8 hours a day,
Sure.
which we coached ourselves.
Yeah.
And our friends, and we knew we all wouldn't play in the big leagues. Kids know that, but we knew we loved the game, and we knew that we had fun. Well, if you move all the way to Kansas City, where we won the World Series a couple years ago, the Royals had fun.
They sure did.
They were fun to watch. They had fun together. So it doesn't really matter if you're 6 years old or 26 or 36. If it's fun, you got a chance to win. And the whole town of Kansas City loved watching them play. And those were the big leaguers. Well, in the Sandlot, I loved watching my children play. And I knew they all probably wouldn't play in the big leagues, if any.
Sure.
But I wanted to be the one that gave them that short little period of time where they got to play and develop and learn how to strike out and go swing again. Or learn how to make an error and go after another ball,
Indeed.
Because you do it at work, we do it at work, everybody does it all day long at work. And so you really have to teach them how to fly.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I'll be meditating on, if it's fun, you've got a chance to win for some time. Hey, Bill, let's take a quick commercial break and come back. I want to talk about writing as opposed to speaking. We'll be right back more with author, speaker, and baseball lover Bill Severns right after this.